Women's behaviors that make men dangerously attracted. Have you ever wondered what truly makes a man unable to forget a woman? It's not the perfect appearance or sweet words, but a special energy she radiates, an energy that makes his heart race and his mind unable to let go. That's queen energy. A power derived from confidence, independence, and self-respect, a woman whom a man can't possess, but can only admire. She's not someone a man wants to control, but someone he can't stop pursuing, because she doesn't need him to feel complete. She is herself, and that's what makes her irresistible. So, do you want to discover the secret to becoming this woman? A woman who not only attracts, but also makes men strive to be worthy of her love and attention. Click on this video to explore the first steps in building your own empire, becoming a woman that men must admire and respect. Subscribe to our channel today to start the journey of discovering the power and allure within you. Don't just be an option, become a worthy choice. Join me in starting the journey to become the alluring and powerful woman you deserve to be right now. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any secrets to discovering your own power. There's a type of woman that men can't control, but they can't stop being drawn to her to the point where they can't take their eyes off her. A woman who's not always predictable, but rather she exudes an alluring energy full of freedom and independence. She's not the type of woman who's easily manipulated, but one that men feel intensely attracted to because of her very unpredictability. When men see this woman, they don't feel the safety or comfort of an easy relationship. Instead, they feel a powerful urge, the feeling of wanting to relentlessly pursue her, because nothing excites them more than the sensation that they could lose this woman at any moment. In a world full of advice on how to love and attract men, this woman doesn't follow those rules. She doesn't try to make herself into a perfect version according to men's expectations. Instead, she accepts and respects herself, and this is the most important factor that makes men unable to take their eyes off her. Many men only seek stability in relationships. They look for comfort and security, wanting a reliable companion, someone who will always be by their side in tough times. But the most alluring woman isn't the one who creates a sense of stability. She's the one who can make men feel driven, compelled to strive harder, to explore and pursue her forever. A woman who knows how to keep the relationship exciting, not letting things become boring and predictable. Men are drawn to unpredictability because it gives them the feeling they've always sought in a relationship, a sense of something new, interesting, and full of challenges. This doesn't mean she has to constantly change or be unpredictable, but that she never lets herself become too easy, too mundane, and always makes men think, strive to understand more about her. In modern society, there are countless pieces of advice for women on how to attract men. These guides have long become golden rules, like being sweet, but not too sweet, smart, but not overwhelming him, sexy, but not easy to get. All these rules aim to create an ideal image that men might like. However, the interesting thing that they can actually make women seem unnatural and uninteresting. We're taught to create a perfect image, a version of ourselves that men desire. But this can force women to wear a mask, hiding their true natural aspects. An alluring woman isn't one who follows all those rules. She doesn't try to become what men want to see. Instead, she becomes her authentic self and doesn't depend on validation from anyone, including men. When a woman no longer worries about meeting expectations or societal standards, she becomes naturally attractive. It's her confidence and independence in thought and action that make men feel drawn in. They're not chasing an idealized version of a woman created by society, but a real woman with her own traits, personality, and desires. Women are taught that if they can meet these requirements, beautiful, gentle, smart, but not too strong, they can keep a man. However, what this advice overlooks is the true essence of allure. Allure doesn't come from trying to meet these expectations, but from living authentically, without changing yourself to please someone. An alluring woman isn't afraid to express herself, doesn't need to play games, disappear, or keep distance to attract attention. Instead, she creates attraction by building an interesting, challenging, and meaningful life that men have to strive to become part of, rather than trying to conquer her. It's precisely these unpredictable aspects from this woman that make men unable to take their eyes off her. Thus, all the rules society has set are just external conditions, while a woman's true appeal lies in her ability to live true to herself and not fear showing confident independence. That's the real secret to allure that many women haven't realized. True allure comes from qualities no one can teach you: emotional independence and self-respect. The most alluring woman isn't one who always relies on men to feel valuable, but a woman who knows her worth and doesn't need validation from anyone, including the man in her life. Why is emotional independence so important? Because in a relationship, when a woman doesn't depend on her partner to feel complete, she creates a space where the man feels he must strive to earn her attention and affection. A woman who knows she is the one building her own life and never depends on anyone to feel proud of herself. This doesn't mean she can't love or doesn't need companionship, but that love and companionship must come from a place of freedom, not dependence or fear of loss. When men encounter a woman with emotional independence, they feel strongly attracted, not because she's hard to approach, but because she's a woman with her own world. She doesn't need a man to feel valuable, but she's willing to share her life with a worthy man. This is an attractive attitude because it reflects strong self-respect and confidence. The man will feel that to gain her attention and love, he must prove his value, that he deserves to be by her side. But this doesn't mean she's cold or uninterested in the man. On the contrary, she expresses love sincerely and strongly, but always maintains clear boundaries, showing that she has the power to decide and doesn't need anyone's approval to confirm her worth. This is why men are drawn to women who don't seek external validation. They are completely emotionally independent and build a passionate life without needing approval or involvement from anyone. Emotional independence not only helps a woman feel more comfortable and confident, but also creates a powerful and alluring energy. When a woman feels completely satisfied with herself and her life, she won't worry about keeping any particular man. She knows that if he leaves, her life will continue to be beautiful and meaningful. It's this freedom and independence that make her irresistible. Follow our channel to learn more secrets to shining with queen energy and living your fullest life. An emotionally independent woman will always be attractive because she doesn't seek validation from anyone. Instead, she shines from within. That's the true power that any man must acknowledge and be drawn to. In relationships, men often face an internal struggle between desiring a stable, safe relationship and craving challenge, novelty, and adventure. This creates a conflict in their minds. One side wants stability, the other yearns for conquest and discovery of the new. The woman who can have a strong pull is the one who understands this contradiction and knows how to exploit it to create powerful allure. In the early stages of a relationship, men often seek a woman who can give them a sense of security. They want an unchanging companion, someone who can provide stability and be a safe haven when they're tired from life's challenges. Gentle, soft, and caring women are the model of a safe home, where men can find relaxation and feel loved and cared for without facing too many challenges or surprises. However, as time passes, the appeal of security can sometimes fade. The relationship becomes routine, with nothing new, and the desire for excitement and thrill begins to emerge in men's minds. They no longer feel stimulated, no longer have the spark in the relationship, but just the repetition of peaceful days. Security becomes boring, and sometimes this stability erodes the relationship's appeal. That's when the woman with queen energy shines. She's not the one creating stability just to please men. Instead, she's an independent woman with her own life full of challenges and passions. She doesn't need a man to feel valuable. But when a man comes to her, he must conquer her and prove he's worthy to be in her world. Such a woman isn't an easy companion for a man to lean on. She doesn't change her life just to please someone. Instead, she invites men to join her world, but only if they prove themselves worthy. This is the big difference between a woman with queen energy and those seeking stability and security. She doesn't create a safe space. Instead, it's a world full of challenges where men must strive to be worthy of her. With such a woman, men will always feel a strong urge to relentlessly pursue and express themselves. This sense of challenge stimulates their primal hunting instinct, a part of men's nature they can't resist, and it's this challenge that makes men unable to take their eyes off her, even if they find stability and security elsewhere. Thus, women shouldn't fear not being able to provide complete stability or comfort in a relationship. In fact, true attraction comes from not letting the relationship become too easy and predictable. She must be the one bringing challenge, and it's that challenge that keeps the relationship fresh, interesting, and never boring. A woman with queen energy isn't one seeking attention or trying to please men. She's not someone who needs recognition from anyone to feel valuable. Instead, she's built a fulfilling life for herself, a private world that no one can easily enter without proving worthiness. She's the woman who not only brings security or comfort to a relationship, but also stimulation and challenge. She doesn't place men at the center of her life. Instead, she builds an independent life where men must strive to become part of that world. This is what makes her special and hard to resist. A woman with queen energy doesn't need to do much for men to notice her. She knows who she is and her worth. She has goals, personal passions, and isn't afraid to show herself. This makes her a woman who can't be possessed, one that men must pursue, must prove they're worthy of her attention and love. When men meet such a woman, they'll feel they can't easily have her. This feeling, one men rarely encounter, is what makes them crave and unable to stop thinking about her. They feel that to gain her attention, they must overcome challenges, strive more than just empty promises or easy gestures. The queen in her isn't arrogance or coldness, but solid confidence. She can be soft, but always holds her ground and respects herself. She doesn't do everything to keep a man. Instead, she shows him he must strive to be worthy of her. A woman with queen energy doesn't need to do much to be loved. She just needs to be herself, a strong, independent woman full of self-respect. This energy is also reflected in how she sets boundaries in relationships. She doesn't let anyone, including her man, cross those boundaries without respect. When there's a boundary violation, she doesn't create drama. She simply withdraws calmly. She's not one to forgive easily without careful thought. She holds firm to her principles, not lowering her standards to please anyone. Thanks to this energy, the woman not only attracts men, but also makes them strive, do more to earn her attention and love. Men can't help but be drawn to her autonomy and courage. And it's her strength, independence, and the boundaries she sets that make her an indispensable woman in anyone's life. One of the most important factors creating a woman's powerful allure is her ability to establish and maintain boundaries in relationships. This isn't an unfriendly or closed-off action, but a manifestation of self-respect and dignity. The most alluring women, they let themselves be exploited or disrespected, and they never hesitate to set clear boundaries to protect their self-worth. A woman who respects herself won't accept disrespectful behavior from others, especially from the man in her life. These boundaries aren't harsh or rigid demands, but principles formed from self-awareness and self-respect. She understands her value and never allows anyone to cross those boundaries without facing consequences. When men encounter a woman with clear boundaries, they feel strongly attracted, because these boundaries not only reflect self-respect, but are also a sign of strength and independence. This woman doesn't just accept love and attention, she demands respect and fair treatment from her partner. She's not one easily deceived or used. She always maintains a healthy space, a fulfilling life without depending on anyone else. For example, if a man suddenly cancels a date without a reasonable explanation, a woman with queen energy won't rush to forgive or try to smooth things over. Instead, she feels disappointed, but won't react by needing to be understanding. She responds with a calm and self-respecting attitude like this: "I understand things can happen, but I was looking forward to this date. Unfortunately, I have other plans next week, and if you want to meet, get in touch later." This action not only shows respect for herself, but also sends a clear message to the man: my time and attention are valuable, and you must prove you're worthy of them. The respect and boundaries she sets not only make her alluring, but also make men feel challenged, having to strive more to be worthy of her affection. Additionally, setting boundaries helps the relationship become fairer and more sustainable. When a woman knows how to protect her value and demand respect from others, she's creating a solid foundation for any relationship. Her partner will understand that the love and attention she gives is a precious gift, not something taken for granted. Only when men truly show respect and commitment can the relationship grow long-term and sustainably. In this way, women not only attract, but also maintain healthy relationships based on mutual respect and effort from both sides. The boundaries women set are the weight to ensure they never lose themselves in a relationship and always have a meaningful life, with or without that man. True allure isn't a temporary game or an easy tactic to make men fall. In reality, what makes a woman alluring and memorable isn't appearance or sweet words, but the admiration men have for her. Admiration isn't just high regard from men, it's a deep expression of respect for the woman and the qualities she brings. True admiration is priceless in any relationship. It's the recognition and acknowledgement of the values a woman possesses. Men might like a woman for external factors like looks, pleasantness, or ability to make them happy. However, they'll only be truly drawn when they start admiring her inner qualities like confidence, intelligence, and independence without relying on anyone. When a woman can maintain emotional independence and hold firm boundaries, she begins to create a space where men feel they must strive harder to earn her attention and love. They no longer see the relationship as obvious or easy, but as something precious they must deserve. When the woman doesn't need validation from men, they'll feel challenged, no longer sensing control or possession. This creates an incredibly attractive feeling. Men might like a woman for various reasons, but what makes them remember forever is the woman who can challenge them. When a woman doesn't just agree with everything, but shares her own views, offers independent opinions, and makes them rethink, that's when they start admiring her. Certainly, men will admire a woman who can hold her ground and never fear losing self-respect just to please them. She doesn't need to do everything to keep men around. Instead, she knows that by living true to herself, only the worthy can approach her. That's how she develops an equal relationship where both must strive for each other's love and respect. Admiration doesn't come from perfection, but from authenticity and readiness to live by one's own values. When women can build a life full of passion and confidence, they not only attract men, but also make them feel that to earn her love, they must be worthy of those qualities. It's the respect and desire to prove worthiness to her that create powerful allure. A relationship can only truly develop when admiration is built on a foundation of mutual respect, and when men start seeing qualities they never imagined could exist in a woman. This admiration will be the key factor keeping the relationship strong and Sustainable, because when a man admires his woman, he'll always feel the need to strive to become a better man, one worthy of her. Becoming a woman who shines with queen energy isn't easy. It's a long and ongoing journey. It's not a sudden change, but a persistent process, a decision you must make every day. This process isn't just about self-improvement, but building a complete life, where you are the center, and everyone else is just a part of your world. To become this woman, you must work tirelessly to enhance your self-worth and never give up on becoming the best version of yourself. The first thing to become a woman with queen energy is to have a mission bigger than yourself. A woman with queen energy has a clear purpose, something grand she's striving for. It could be a career, education, art, or any passion she pursues. She knows love isn't her only goal in life. To achieve this, she must have clarity about her goals and never let love or relationships affect the path she's chosen. When you have a mission, you become self-reliant and not dependent on validation from others. You won't let your life revolve around anyone, including your partner. You become a passionate woman with willpower and the life you love. A man can't help but be drawn to such a woman, because he'll know you don't need him to feel complete, but he'll have to strive to prove he's worthy to accompany you. The second step in this journey is building your own fortress. This is emotional, financial, and social independence. You need to build a solid foundation where you don't depend on anyone to live the life you want. This includes ensuring stable work and income, close friends, and a supportive community. And most importantly, you must be able to solve your own problems without relying on others. Women with queen energy aren't afraid to face difficulties alone, and they don't wait for others to rescue them. Next is the ability to enjoy solitude. This doesn't mean you have to live alone or not want relationships, but you must know how to enjoy quiet and not feel lonely when no one's around. Women with queen energy know they can master their own lives, and they're not afraid to spend time alone. They know solitude is time for self-development, to delve deeper into themselves, and to nurture personal desires, passions, and goals. Finally, you must build your own principles and values. These are rules you never change, things you can't ignore. For example, you might decide you never accept disrespect. You always make time for your passions and personal interests. Or you require clear and consistent communication in relationships. These principles aren't threats or difficult demands, but basic things you can't abandon if you want to keep your life and relationships strong. When you live by these principles, you don't need to announce them to anyone. You don't need to explain or argue about what you believe. You just live by those values and let your actions show it. Women with queen energy don't give warnings or try to change others. Instead, they simply live a fulfilling life, and when someone violates their principles, they withdraw calmly, without arguing. When men start perceiving the true allure women bring, they'll understand it's not attraction based on looks or easy gestures. True allure comes from the respect, strength, and independence the woman shows. Women with queen energy not only make men admire them but also change how they view love and relationships. An alluring woman isn't one who does everything to be liked, but one who does everything for herself. She doesn't need validation from anyone to feel valuable. When men meet this woman, they'll start realizing love isn't taken for granted, but something to strive for and deserve. This creates a strong drive in men to continuously improve themselves and prove they can be worthy of her love. This realization comes from understanding that women aren't just to be loved, but to be admired. Men don't just seek ease or comfort in relationships, they seek challenge, interest, and growth. And it's women with queen energy who ignite these desires in them. When men understand that love isn't dependence but free choice, they'll find themselves even more drawn to the strong and independent woman. Men will realize they can't own women. Instead, they must strive to be part of her world. That's why women with queen energy become alluring not just because they're strong, but because they know their worth and never diminish it just to please others. For such a woman, choosing a companion isn't a necessity or sacrifice, but a decision from fullness and satisfaction with her own life. She doesn't need a man to feel valuable, but she's ready to choose a worthy man to share this life. This is the greatest strength of a woman with queen energy. She never sees men as a necessity, but as a precious choice. So, when men understand the difference between liking and admiring, between choice and need, they'll realize true allure comes from deeper things than surface actions. Women don't need to make themselves the ideal lover in men's eyes. They just need to become the best version of themselves and live a passionate life. And that's what will attract the worthy man. Allure isn't submission or pleasing others, but the ability to decide your own life, stand firm, and express yourself authentically and confidently. Women with queen energy are those who never lose themselves in relationships. They know that only by being themselves can the worthy man enter their world. To become a woman with queen energy, you can't just rely on temporary actions or attitudes. This process requires patience, self-building, and creating a fulfilling and strong life without depending on anyone. This doesn't mean rejecting love or relationships, but not letting those relationships become the deciding factor in your life. You are the one building your own empire, where everything is based on the values and principles you set. To start, you must define your life's mission. A woman with queen energy always has a clear purpose, something bigger than herself, that she's pursuing. This could be a career, a hobby, or any personal passion you immerse yourself in. The important thing is, you must have a solid goal that love or relationships don't hinder. Share our channel's content with other women to build a strong community together, where everyone shines with queen energy. That's what makes you attractive. You have a fulfilling life, a clear purpose, and men must strive to prove they're worthy to be in your world.